Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this webinar on process audit, process validation, and process optimization. I welcome you all to this webinar. I'm Sandeep Kulkarni from Dynamic Foundry Group. Welcome you all on behalf of German Corporation, GIZ, MHMC, and Dynamic Foundry Group. So welcome all. Let us start with the presentation straight away. So content of the presentation: what is process control audit? How process control audit is conducted, some tips and guidelines. What are benefits of process control audit? What is process validation? How process validation is conducted? Some case studies I have included in this presentation. What are benefits of process validation? Then we'll go to process optimization. How process optimization is conducted? One case study is also there. And what are benefits of process optimization? So these are the content which we are going to see in today's webinar. We'll start with the audit, that is process audit. There are various types of audits we are going through. That is process audit is one audit. Then we have a system audit where ISO 9000 or TS 169, or now it is called as an IATF. So these audits are there. Customers audits are there. Third party audits are there, and product audits are there. But we are talking today process audit for our discussion. So let us start with process audit. To start with process audit, we have to understand first what is process approach, because process audit, process validation, and process optimization, in all these three, the process word is common, and that is why the process need to be understand what is exactly process is all about and how it is important aspect of our business. So for that we have to understand first what is process approach. So we all know this line, that is input process output. Any good output if you want, then you have to have good input also. For example, we have to make a good basmati rice. For that, some good biryani we want to make or prepare. For that, we need basmati rice. With simple rice, we cannot able to make some good tasty biryani. So for every good output, we need some really good input. So input quality is important. And after getting good input quality or better input quality, we have to process it in a proper way, in a systematic way, in a defined way. Whatever work instruction or whatever control plan, whatever systematic approach we have decided, through that approach, if that input is processed, we can get desired output. To get desired output, we have to get desired input, and optimize or proper process has to be followed. So this is nothing but a process approach. We have to get good output, we need to give good input, and we have to follow process as per desired plan. So it is called as a process approach. So process approach is an important word. So process approach requires a change in attitude. This is very important, that the attitude needs to be changed. That way cannot
Good evening, Vira.
go with a bad input.
Vira, just summary. We are talking about 5 defective parts. No? 5 become 4. Very good.
Somebody has
Congratulations,
unmuted himself. Please mute yourself.
Okay. So when you will make it 0?
So the process approach requires change in attitude.
Okay. Ipa, Vinayakraman spoken 2 days back. And the part okay ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇಪ್ಪ so okay ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು they have done some rework.
So process approach requires a change in attitude across the organization. This is very important, that attitude of overall organization need to be changed if you want to follow this process approach, process audit, process validation, and process optimization in a perfect way, because the approach is very important. If you say ki chalta hai, then everything will go, sabhi chalega. Lekin when you say no, you will want a good input material, because I want good output material. So when you stop that process there itself, that raw material or input is not good, I am not going to process it, that attitude is required if we want to make good output product from the given input. So input material has to be checked 100%. It has to be follow all the norms which we have decided, and all this attitude has to be come inside the organization from right from your owner to your bottom level. So it is very important to change the attitude across the organization to get proper process approach in the organization. What is process? Process is a series of actions which are carried out in order to achieve a particular result. That is what I am saying. If you want to achieve specific or particular result, you have to carry all the processes as per your plan, or you have to follow the series of actions which we have already decided how it should be done in similar fashion. If some of the actions are not followed properly, or if any shortcut has been taken, then you will not able to get desired output or particular result. So that is why the process approach required specific follow of all the series of actions to achieve particular result. That is why process approach is required, and for the process approach we need to have uh, complete changeover in your attitude of the organization. The attitude should be positive, and it should be very qualitative in the mind. We also know this word, that is PDCA, that is plan, do, check, and act. So again, it is on same platform, that is process approach. Process approach need planning, then you have to work done, then you have to check, and if required you have to take action. So PDCA cycle has to be followed. If PDCA cycle is not followed, then definitely you will not following process approach. So to have process approach, this PDCA cycle is also must. Input and output, we have seen in between there is a process. When process is going on, there will be some inspection, there will be some deviations, there will be some problems, and all these things has to become as a feedback to the quality or to the team which is doing it. Once that feedback is received, after getting that feedback, you have to take some action, and again the same process, input, process, output should be followed. So this is an we can say a circle, and that circle has to be closed loop. If you find something difficult, some deviation or some issues, you immediately has to give feedback. On the feedback, you have to take action, and after the action, again the same process has to be run and see whether the output is desired or not. So that loop has to be closed. It is very important. So it is called as process input output model. So we have to follow this also. So after going through all this primary discussion on process and process approach, let us turn to our original topic, that is process audit. So process audit is nothing but a review or verification of process parameter by a process auditor. There is one process auditor in the organization who verifies or reviews all the processes going inside your foundry or inside your manufacturing setup, and it verifies it, reviews it. Is there any deviation is there? Is there whatever the parameters are decided are being followed or not? And he's checking all these things to conduct this process audit. During the audit, process auditor will verify the various process which are followed as per given work instruction, control plan, or quality plan on the shop floor. He will just verify or check that all the processes given as per work instruction or control plan or quality plan are followed as per the given documents or not. He will just verify it, check it. Here, process auditor plays an important role to verify the process and to identify the gaps in the same. So whatever there in the documentation and what is actually happening. So for example, there is an temperature, say 1380 to 1420 is given in your control plan or work instruction or quality plan, whatever it is. And actually, he is seeing on the shop floor, one heat is poured at 1370, one heat is poured at 1430. So they are not following the given work instruction or quality plan. So the part which are poured are out of spec, we can say, in the process control. So he has to just mention that whether the control plan or work instruction or quality plan is followed or not. As per my experience, the process auditor should be a fresh person. This is what I have seen in last almost 10 to 15 years, whatever various observation I have done with the process audit and process auditor work, I feel that it should be a fresh person. What happened with the experienced person? Experienced person will always try to use his experience, try to put his experience inside. And if he say, for example, we are taking an example, 1380 to 1420, and his pouring is going on 1370, he might say, yes, this part is heavy, 1370 will work. So he will not put that observation as a deviation. He will use his experience and he will allow shortcuts to take in real process, which we don't want. We want a real time non-conformance which is happening on the shop floor to be highlighted, so that either we change that process control parameters or we rectify the process. Whatever is required, we can able to do. But if he use his experience and use it as a shortcut and he compromise on that process, whatever realistic deviations happening on the shop floor will not come to us. So that is why an experienced person is a dangerous guy here. So I always prefer to have a fresh person who is not having much foundry knowledge to conduct these audits. Hence, it is better to have fresh person to take these audits, process audits, who will be followed given control plan, quality plan, or work instruction or guidelines as it is. He will not use his mind here. This is very important. In the process audit, he is supposed to check. What we are supposed to check, number one is process parameter adherence, whether all the process parameters which are given in the control plan, quality plan, or work instruction are followed or not. Number one. Number two, machine conditions, calibration, and human skill and training needs. So he has to understand whether the awareness is there in the people or not. Whether people are aware that the magnesium treatment in the ductile iron is important. Whether those people are understanding the importance of pouring time in ductile iron. Whether the people are understanding the importance of inoculation practice in the melting. He has to go and see whether the calibration of weighing scale has been done or not, on which the material is being weighed. He has to go and check whether ferro lab is calibrated or not, whether the due date is passed or it is closed. He has to go through all these things. He also has to see machine condition, whether machine is in good condition or not, preventive maintenance is done or not, is there any breakdown. Few examples I would like to share here. When we are conducting process audits, I have got some good or bad experience. I will just like to share a couple of them. For one example, I would like to share about the spectrometer die. We normally say that there should be at least 2 to 3 dies on the shop floor, because we want to take one die for the after pouring and 2 dies for on the shop floor for the bath metal. So there should be at least 3 dies, so that whenever we pour the metal inside the die should be near to the normal temperature or atmospheric temperature. Many times on the paper there are 3 dies, but when we go to the audit on the shop floor, we see there is a one die, and which is also in a very bad condition. It is already black, almost black in color. There are a lot of damages. There are a lot of hammering has all been done. There is gap inside between the parting line. Metal is going out from the parting line. All these things we find on the shop floor. And if this is the condition, how we can expect our spectrometer will show exactly correct reading for the chemistry? Because only one die, then we cannot able to pour the metal on at room temperature. We cannot get a good quality of coin. If our quality of our coin is not good, we are not supposed to get good result on spectrometer. So how we can expect that? So it is not possible. So these kind of small things which are happening on the shop floor, which may not be coming to the top management on daily basis, need to be highlighted by someone as a third party, or as a we can say non-interested party. And that is why I am saying it should be a fresh person who is not knowing the shortcuts, not able to use his experience. He just go there and put up whatever happening on the shop floor against what is actually required, and get those gap analysis for the top management to work on those gap analysis and make process more stringent and more, you can say, powerful to get desired result, because we know input, process, and output. If inputs are not good, our output will be not as good as we desire. When process is not followed, we will not get the desired output. So to get desired output, we have to follow good input process and good process control, and that is why these process audits are very important. This is a format which I have been using for last 10 years. I think this is maybe seventh or eighth iteration of this format. Lot of changes has been done right from beginning. I've started this format with Mr. Avinash Joshi. I think he's also joined in today's webinar. He's available on for today's webinar. So he may be remembering that we started from a one-page format, and now it has been, I have treated various time, and I think now it is got a lot of good things, but still somebody can come and add more things as per his infrastructure and requirement. So what I have added here is this is for melting and pouring. You can see start melting start time, end time, charge payment, power, initial power. All these details have been filled up. The charge mix percentage, bath metal percent, scrap details, alloy details, covering punching, magnesium alloy, ferrolab temperature, C meter, the validation here. This point will be covering in the next session as well. That validation of ferrolab and C meter, spectrometer, then composition, bath and final composition. All these details, magnesium content, microstructure of the component, inoculation, then lot number, and his capacity, that is inoculation as per metal taken, tapping temperature, tapping weight, ladle number, and number of kgs metal taken for that ladle, whether ladle cover is, that is lead is used or not, steam inoculation used or not, gas ignite is there or not. It depends on if some part doesn't require stream inoculation. So you can write here that stream inoculation is not applicable and he's not using. But in some cases, if stream inoculation is required and he's using it, he has to mention that yes, stream inoculation is mentioned in the work instruction and is following this practice. He's using so and so kg of stream inoculation for so and so kg of metal. So this kind of things will help to management to understand whatever we have designed our process, that has been followed perfectly or not, and if there are any issues, quality issues or rejections or customer complaints, then are they related to this process deviation or are they related to process design? Because many times what we do, we design the process and we give that designed process to manufacturing or production for following it on the shop floor, but they are not following it as we have designed. They are following something different, and then after rejection has come, we are in dilemma whether that is the problem of process follow is correct or not, or whether process design is correct or not. So to avoid that dilemma, we need to see all these things so that we can conclude that yes, whatever design we have done, it is not followed. So it is not followed. That means first we have to follow it and then we have to see the result. If it is followed and still there are rejections, then you can conclude yes, we have designed the process, it has been followed as per process audit, and still problem arises. It means we have to redesign our process. So it would help us in reducing our rejections as well. So the importance of process audit is very, very important and very useful to reduce our rejections and customer complaints as well. So next we see pouring temperature as per number of boxes in both ladle, pouring time, treatment time, return metal, whatever return metal comes, how much return metal is been coming, how many boxes has been poured. Here, if return metal comes around 50 kg, you can ask a question to the melting supervisor, why you have taken that much extra metal? Why the furnace capacity is 500 kg but you have metal 580 kg metal? So all these, we can say, backlogs or all these shortcuts, all these problems will come to the highlight to the management by this kind of process audit. and then you can take some actions to reduce rejection, reduce wastages, and make your process more fruitful. This is very important. This is about sand testing, similar format. In the melting also I have not added some of the points, that is calibration. You can add as many points as possible. I have just given you some pages out of the total format. So this is around sand testing. In sand testing also bentonite, coal bond addition. You have to validate that whether the addition is as per our PLC control or not. The PLC is showing 4 kg, but I am actual bentonite adding is 5 kg. So it is not valid, it is not good. So you have to see all these things in your process audit. Mixing time you have to verify, sand return sand temperature you have to verify, sand properties you have to verify, mixer blade gap. When we have checked, when is the next turn of checking the mixer blade gap is there. You have to check peel off of the casting, hopper level, sand cooler input temperature, output temperature, mold hardness. All these points you need to go through. Then in mold closing, observations are need to be required. Closing pins, whether closing pins and pouring pins are checked. What is the control plan for checking pin bush of boxes, whether there is identification or not, whether they have checked pin bush and boxes as per control plan. All these things, special air pressure required for molding, whether it is for as per norm or at lower pressure molding has been done. So all these small things you can check and you can verify it as a third party, as a not interested party, and what are non-conformance are there, what are the backlog or loopholes are there in the process. You can highlight it to the management so that they can come up and take the actions. This is a process audit uh, chart for code box, where you can see bench life, scratch hardness, paint viscosity, core storage, core identification, first in, first out, sand AFS. Everything has been mentioned. Similarly, we have no bake. Similarly, we have a shell code. So all these things you can go through the process and you can find out the gap analysis. So now we go to further is result of process audit. So after the process audit is completed, the result of process audit is very important. You get some negative points or negative remarks, or you can say gap analysis. That gap analysis need to be discussed with a technical top management person or senior person. This is very important, and this step will double the we can say effectiveness of your audit. If it is not happened, if process auditor goes, he collect some gap analysis he does, and he does actions on his own, then I think the effectiveness will be less. If he share these audit points or observation of audit with a senior person, technical senior person, and technical senior person give half an hour daily on these process audits, there will be effectiveness will be doubled, because he can understand all the things. He can able to understand what is going wrong, whether the resources are lacking, awareness is lacking, or there are some maintenance issues, or there is some you can say non-conforming issue. He can able to understand and he can able to take further action uh, on the managerial level. That is very important. So the effectiveness will be doubled. So it is very important that the auditor should come with a senior person or top management, discuss with them, and then the actions will start. It will give better output and better effectiveness of the audit. This will help to improve the gaps in the process by taking appropriate actions. This will also improve the skill, quality, and awareness and the technical knowledge of auditing person. So, first thing, this will help organization to improve on their processes. Number one, and number two, the process auditor, who is a fresh guy, who is a fresh person, he will become a good, skilled, quality, aware, and technical knowledge having person for your future. So you indirectly are training your future supervisor or future manager. I always say, if you have a good process auditor, he works there for 3 months or 6 months, you will get a good supervisor or good manager for the future, because he will not follow any shortcuts in his life. He will not follow any unquality thought process in his you can say process control. He will be a very well shaped person for quality awareness and for process control. So by that way, you can able to get good future supervisor. So actions and gap which may be related to identifying new resources. So resources are not adequate. That is why there is a gap in the process. For example, what we have taken is copper die, because old copper die is already worn out. Nobody has uh, talked with the management. So the resources are not enough. You have to go for new die or repair that die. So need some resources. So identifying the new resources, there should be some maintenance or repairing work. Because of that, process is not followed properly. For example, the pouring is not done good properly because of the gear of the ladle which is pouring is not proper. It is moving freely, so you have to go for repair of ladle. So all these things will come out, and on that loopholes or on that non-conformance, one can able to take action to improve the quality as well as reducing the rejection. So training of a pupil. There may be somebody has unmuted himself. Can he mute himself? Mr. Kumbar. So training of people. Some you may find that the awareness is not there. People are not having proper awareness. So you go and train them properly. So this is another area you can find. Improving awareness of the people, training to the people. So you can get all these point, and all these action may arises through the gap analysis. The same thing which I was talking before this point, that if you do this activity very seriously with a young fresh person for 3 months, I guarantee you will get a very good quality minded trained supervisor for your organization. Every 6 months, if you revise this cycle, or every 6 months you can take one fresh person and train him accordingly, you will make a good team of supervisors. That is, and most importantly, theirs are trained and molded as per your guidelines, as per your process control, as per your you can say process approach. So they will not come with the bad habits from other industries. If you take somebody experienced person from other company, he may come with some mindset in his mind from old company. He will some bring along with him some bad habits. So it will not happen. Whatever you want, you can just get all those things from you from the fresh person within 3 months or 6 months during the training through this process audit. So we'll get very good supervisors through this. So role of process auditor is not only to find out the gap. This is also very important. If this is not happened or this is not followed, the effectiveness of process audit will vanish. So I think this is very important, because many times, many places I have seen that process audits are taking up, or even we have facing lot of customer audits also, third party audits also, but we lag in this particular point, that we have a gap analysis, but closing that gap analysis, closing those non-conformance is very important. So role of process auditor is not to find out the gaps only, but he has to work along with the process owner to reduce that gaps or fill up that gaps. So he has to work on actions as well. He has to follow up the actions. He has to verify that actions are been taken and gaps has been closed, or the action, the non-conformance has been eliminated. All these things is the responsibility of that process auditor. He is not only responsible to find out the gaps, but he is responsible to correct it as well, along with process owner. The first responsibility will definitely will be process owner, but along with him, the process auditor is equally responsible to see that all these gaps are being filled up properly. So it is responsibility of process auditor to support process owner. Sorry, there's a writing mistake, process owner to get it solved and clear the non-conformance. So it is a win-win situation for both of them, we can say. So benefits of process audit: to find out the gaps analysis in the process to get it resolved, assess and improve the machines, equipments and instruments condition and calibrations, make all shop floor team aware about the process control parameter and verify it is being followed strictly on shop floor or not. Most importantly, it confirms adhere to the control plan, quality plan and work instructions, so that we can understand whatever process we have designed, it is been followed properly and it is giving us good results. So these are the basically benefits of process audit. Just like in the schools, teacher are coming and they are inspecting your notebooks or your homeworks. If they are checking or inspecting your notebooks and homework, then you are following it. If they are not checking, you may skip it because you know that nobody will come and check me. So that is why process audit is a checkpoint on the shop floor person or supervisor, operators, everybody, that it will he will somebody will come and inspect me, somebody will come and check my process. So I have to follow my process. I have to adhere my process. I have to see that all the things related to my process or related to my activity are working as per control plan or as per work instruction. So that some additional pressure will be there so that people will follow all the process control parameters. So this is from my side about the process audit. We will do one thing. We will take a gap here and we will rejoin immediately for the next part, that is process validation and process optimization. So please join again within 2 to 3 minutes for that.